Etienne Bama, a board member of the advisory committee of that. Mr. Bama, good afternoon to you. I mean, the idea, of course, would be that goods, services would be able to move across borders. Well, how would that change our continent? It would be a huge change.
Yeah, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure being on board with Newzroom Afrika. The discussion is all about how services are going to be liberalized, notably transport services, which is the key focus of the Union of African Shippers Council. So here the discussion is focused on how the Shippers Council is going to play its role in supporting the implementation process of the AFCFTA. And it is interesting to say here that the Secretary General of the AFCFTA, His Excellency Wamkele, before coming to the conference proper, embarked on a visit at the border between Zambia and DRC at Kasumbalesa, where a giant infrastructure project is under construction by OGEFREM, which is the multimodal office of DR Congo. The essence of this visit was for the Secretary General to take stock of the infrastructure and trade support development on the continent that is being carried out by members of the Union of African Shippers Council. Now, talking about liberalization of transport services, it is important to say that most of intra-Africa trade takes place along transport corridors. And this transport corridor, DRC, is an example of it. It has more than 230 border posts, linking it into all its neighboring countries. And DR Congo alone is using about 10 ports in 3 regional economic communities, notably the SADC, through Johannesburg, through Wavis Bay, through the EAC Mombasa, Tanzania, and through ECAS, Douala and Ponwa in Congo. So it is very important and critical for DR Congo to ensure that transport services are liberalized in a proper way that it will serve the interests of its shippers in terms of AFCFTA. And that is why we are here today in DR Congo to be able to chart the path for a collaborative framework between the Union of African Shippers Council and the AFCFTA Secretariat.
So it makes sense, and I mean the economic evidence to remove borders, to liberalize shipping, to liberalize the movement of goods and services across borders is very strong. I mean, we can look at the European Union, we can see how that's so much richer than it was in 1945. We can look at other places, North America with NAFTA. But that doesn't mean that there isn't opposition. So in our country, in South Africa, for example, we know that in an area called KwaZulu-Natal, near one of our major ports, in the port of Durban, we find that some South African nationals appear to attack foreign truck drivers because they are foreign. But that's just one example. There'll be other elements of opposition. Do you worry that there'll be opposition to this in other countries across Africa, including South Africa, that could stop this integration from happening?
Yeah, the truth is that the opposition is not only from South Africa. In other parts of Africa, that problem has been sorted out through a repartition, or quota repartition of cargo. For example, let me take the case of Central Africa, where I come from. In the case of Cameroon is having the Douala ports and the Kribi ports, which serve the Republic of Chad and the Republic of Central Africa. How is this problem solved at this level? There is the repartition of cargo, 60-40%. When the cargo is moving from Cameroon to N'Djamena, Chad, the tendency is that Cameroonian shippers will transport 60% of the cargo, while charging transporters will carry 40% of the cargo. And the reverse is true. When cargo is leaving Chad to Cameroon, even for onward shipment to maybe Europe, Asia, and America. And in that way, the Shippers Confederation is quite comfortable with that approach. I don't know if that is the case between South Africa and DR Congo, because transport services is quite a sensitive sector, where the predominance of private actor is quite visible. And you know, the investment as well is quite huge, considerably. We are talking here of trucks that may cost up to $200,000. An investor who disburses such an amount will want to get his turnover in the shortest possible time. Here, there is a need for concerted effort discussing with transport syndicates, regulatory authorities in various countries and regional economic communities, as well as the way forward at the level of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And I think due process has been done at this level. And definitely, even if problems will come, problems are never been solved entirely. If problems will come, there are framework mechanisms to resolve these problems at the national level, at the bilateral level, at the regional economic community level, and definitely at the level of dispute settlement within the AFCFTA Secretariat. So every measure has been taken into consideration during the drafting process of the protocol and the annexes.
In the end, if this were all to work, it should make everybody in Africa, all of us, it should make us richer, right?
It will definitely make all of us richer. The question most people are asking, how are we going to share the benefits of the AFCFTA, considering the disparity in levels of economic development? But what most of people are not aware is that even the implementation of the AFCFTA is done considering the level of development of each country. At the global level, we have developing and least developed countries. At the level of the AFCFTA, that categorization has equally been taken into consideration. Developing countries are liberalizing over 5 years, and least developed countries are liberalizing over 10 years. So that gives them a margin of maneuver for them to make some adjustments and be able to correct some mistakes. So that is how we are going to go. If we have to look at problems, Africa will never move forward. Problems are part of our society, and resolving them are the essence of our existence.
Cham Etienne Bama, thank you, a member of the advisory board for the African Continental Free Trade Area. Well, it's a fascinating story. It's going to affect all of us.